Car drivers see motorcyclists doing things that make zero sense. Swerving around nothing, revving at lights, hanging off bikes like acrobats. These behaviors look reckless, pointless, or just plain weird. Today we're explaining exactly what's happening and why every crazy move actually makes perfect sense. The biggest one has drivers honking and cursing every single day. Number 10. Lanes splitting through traffic like they own the road. You're trapped in gridlock, watching your soul die one brake light at a time when a motorcycle glides between cars like traffic laws are suggested. Your blood boils. That arrogant rider thinks they're special, right? Dead wrong. They're using the smartest survival strategy on 4 wheels, or in this case, 2. Lane splitting isn't motorcycle privilege or legal loophole abuse. It's life-saving positioning that prevents motorcycles from becoming death sandwiches in stopped traffic. When cars slam into each other during sudden stops, fender benders that barely scratch paint turn into rider fatalities. Motorcycles trapped between vehicles have nowhere to escape when distracted drivers plow into traffic queues. California legalized lane splitting decades ago, and University of California, Berkeley's research proves it works brilliantly. Lane-splitting motorcyclists are 37% less likely to die in accidents and suffer significantly fewer head and torso injuries compared to riders stuck in traffic like sitting ducks waiting for impact. The technique demands serious skill that most car drivers never appreciate. Riders must read traffic flow patterns, judge gap distances down to inches, and react instantly to sudden lane changes. Experienced motorcyclists only split when traffic moves under 30 miles per hour, maintaining minimal speed differences to avoid surprises that could prove fatal. Physics explains why this works perfectly. Motorcycles accelerate faster than cars, stop quicker, and occupy minimal road space. Every bike filtering forward removes one vehicle from your lane, actually improving traffic flow instead of hindering it. That rider isn't cutting in line. They're escaping death traps while making your commute slightly better. Think lane splitting is bold? Some riders literally dangle off their bikes just to survive the next corner. Number 9. Hanging off bikes like circus daredevils. Mountain curves ahead, perfect pavement stretching through scenic hills, when suddenly you spot a motorcyclist practically falling off their machine, knee-scraping asphalt like they're auditioning for a stunt show. Looks like a certain disaster, right? You're actually witnessing advanced physics and engineering principles in perfect harmony. Body positioning isn't about looking cool or impressing spectators. It's calculated weight distribution that fundamentally changes motorcycle dynamics through corners. When riders shift their body weight to the inside of turns, they're manipulating the bike's center of gravity to maintain higher speeds, while keeping the motorcycle more upright and stable. Here's the engineering behind this seemingly reckless behavior. Upright motorcycles maintain maximum tire contact patches with road surfaces. More rubber touching asphalt means exponentially more grip, which translates directly into better control and larger safety margins. Track riders perfected these techniques because milliseconds separate victory from catastrophic crashes. But street riders use identical principles when cornering forces approach physics limits. Professional instruction teaches precise body movement sequences. The inside knee extends toward the apex. Shoulders align with turn direction. Weight distributes according to corner radius and speed. Done correctly, this allows riders to maintain higher velocities through curves that would otherwise require dangerous lean angles, where tiny road imperfections could cause instant crashes. You'll observe aggressive body positioning mainly on sport bikes during spirited riding sessions. Cruiser motorcycles rarely require these techniques due to their more relaxed performance characteristics. But when someone's hanging off their machine like a motorcycle racing professional, they're applying advanced engineering concepts to stay rubber side down instead of sliding across asphalt. Speaking of staying in control, this next invisible technique sends drivers into absolute panic mode. Number 8. Slowing down without any brake lights. Highway cruising at 70 miles per hour, motorcycle ahead maintaining steady pace, then suddenly it starts decelerating rapidly, but zero brake lights illuminate. Your foot slams the brake pedal in panic. Broken electrical system? Reckless endangerment? Neither. You just witnessed engine braking, one of motorcycling's most effective and completely normal techniques. Unlike automobiles, where engine braking provides minimal stopping power, motorcycles can decelerate dramatically through downshifting alone. High-performance sport bikes with aggressive compression ratios generate serious stopping force from engine compression without touching brake levers. The process allows riders to drop from highway speeds to city pace using only transmission and engine characteristics. Engine braking works through internal combustion principles. When riders downshift and release throttle, engine compression creates resistance that opposes forward motion. Combined with proper rev-matching techniques, this produces that distinctive engine note you hear during aggressive downshifts. The method is smoother than brake application, more controlled than emergency stops, and actually extends brake component life by reducing pad and rotor wear. The critical problem: engine braking doesn't activate brake light switches because riders aren't pulling brake levers or pressing pedals. Some motorcycles feature aftermarket deceleration sensing systems that illuminate brake lights automatically, but these aren't standard equipment on most machines. Experienced riders typically combine engine braking with light brake lever touches to signal their intentions to following traffic. However, newer riders often forget this courtesy while concentrating on smooth downshift execution. They're not intentionally creating hazards, they're focused on technique mastery without realizing the communication gap they're creating. Your solution, as a responsible driver: maintain extra following distance behind motorcycles. They can stop significantly faster than your car, whether using conventional brakes, engine braking, or both techniques simultaneously. Think mysterious deceleration causes confusion? This next behavior has drivers dialing emergency services. Number 7. Revving engines at red lights like drag racers. Traffic light turns red, you roll to a complete stop. Then the motorcycle beside you starts revving like they're preparing for Daytona qualifying. Engine noise echoes off surrounding buildings, rattling windows, and testing everyone's patience. Before you consider road rage, understand the legitimate mechanical reasons behind this seemingly obnoxious behavior. Motorcycle engines operate under completely different thermal management principles than automobile engines. Air-cooled performance machines and sport bikes designed for constant airflow can overheat rapidly when stationary. Without forward motion creating cooling air circulation, engine temperatures spike dangerously during extended idle periods at long traffic lights. Controlled engine revving increases oil circulation throughout critical engine components, carrying heat away from pistons, cylinders, and valve assemblies more effectively than idle speeds allow. For air-cooled engines like traditional Harley-Davidson motors, revving creates artificial airflow across cooling fins that wouldn't exist during stationary operation. Carbureted motorcycles face additional challenges that fuel-injected engines avoid entirely. Unlike modern fuel injection systems maintaining perfect air-fuel ratios automatically, carbureted bikes can stumble, hesitate, or stall when engine temperatures rise beyond optimal operating ranges. Quick throttle applications keep these engines responsive and prevent embarrassing stalls when lights change. Many experienced riders also use throttle blips to verify engine responsiveness before accelerating into busy intersections. Engines that hesitate or stumble during rev checks might indicate developing fuel system problems that could cause dangerous performance issues in traffic situations. Granted, some riders absolutely rev engines because they enjoy the sound and mechanical symphony, but the majority are performing necessary maintenance procedures disguised as showing off, keeping their machines operating within safe parameters. What's the craziest reaction you've ever gotten from a driver while riding? Let us know in the comments. We've all got that one story. Now prepare for something that appears completely insane until you understand two-wheel physics. Number 6. Swerving around completely invisible road hazards. Pristine pavement stretches ahead, perfect surface conditions visible for miles, yet the motorcycle in front weaves left and right like they're navigating an obstacle course only they can see. From your elevated car seat position, the roadway appears flawless. From a motorcycle rider's perspective, just 2 feet above asphalt, that perfect road surface becomes a treacherous minefield of hidden dangers. Motorcycles maintain contact with roads through 2 tiny patches, approximately the size of credit cards. Road surface irregularities that barely register in automobile suspensions become significant threats to motorcycle stability and rider safety. Seemingly innocent manhole covers transform into slippery metal traps when moisture appears. White-painted lane markers become ice skating rinks during wet conditions. Road tar snakes used for crack sealing create sticky surfaces that grab motorcycle tires and induce dangerous wobbles. Road debris invisible from automobile heights threatens motorcycles constantly and relentlessly. Small bolts, screws, or metal fragments that bounce harmlessly off car tires can puncture motorcycle rubber instantly. Wet autumn leaves create surfaces more slippery than black ice. Even painted road markings like crosswalks, turn arrows, and handicapped parking symbols become serious traction hazards when dampened by morning dew or light precipitation. Experienced motorcyclists scan road surfaces 12 to 15 seconds ahead, reading pavement conditions like survival manuals. They're constantly planning escape routes around threats that automobile drivers never notice or consider dangerous. That seemingly random swerving represents precise navigation around motorcycle stability threats lurking everywhere. Professional riding instruction emphasizes the path of travel management, strategic positioning within lane boundaries through constant minor adjustments. Riders aren't being indecisive or nervous. They're demonstrating advanced hazard recognition and avoidance skills that keep them upright and moving forward safely. But invisible road hazards pale compared to this behavior that convinces drivers motorcycles blatantly ignore traffic laws. Number 5. Filtering to the front of every red light. Traffic signals turn red, vehicles queue politely in designated lanes. Then motorcycles slowly creep forward between cars until they're positioned directly at intersection front lines. Appears like shameless line cutting and traffic law violation, right? Actually, this positioning strategy serves multiple safety and efficiency purposes that benefit every road user simultaneously. Filtering to traffic light front positions is explicitly legal in numerous jurisdictions for scientifically sound reasons. Motorcycles accelerate significantly faster than automobiles from complete stops. Basic 600 cubic centimeter sport bikes can outrun most cars reaching 30 miles per hour. By starting from front positions, motorcycles clear intersection areas rapidly, reducing overall congestion for automobile traffic following behind. Safety considerations drive this behavior more powerfully than mere convenience factors. Motorcycles stopped within traffic lanes face severe rear-end collision risks from distracted or impaired drivers. Automobile fender benders that create minor property damage become rider fatalities when motorcycles get crushed between larger vehicles. Front positioning eliminates these threats entirely by removing motorcycles from potential impact zones. Visibility improvements provide another crucial safety benefit often overlooked by frustrated automobile drivers. Motorcycles hidden between larger vehicles like trucks, SUVs, and vans frequently become invisible to turning drivers, leading to deadly left-turn collisions. Statistically, one of the most dangerous accident types for motorcyclists. Front positioning makes riders impossible to miss or overlook. Responsible filtering requires considerable skill, judgment, and situational awareness. Riders must accurately gauge gap widths, predict automobile driver behavior patterns, and move smoothly without startling other motorists. Experienced motorcyclists only filter when traffic remains completely stationary and adequate space exists for safe passage. Legal status varies significantly between different states and municipalities. However, where explicitly permitted, filtering isn't cheating or rule-breaking. It's intelligently using motorcycle performance characteristics to improve traffic flow and safety for everyone sharing roadways. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell, or keep thinking every motorcyclist is just being a selfish road hog when they're actually following advanced safety protocols. Number 4. Standing up on foot pegs, like rodeo riders. Smooth highway ahead, steady cruising speeds, perfect riding conditions. Then suddenly, the motorcyclist in front stands up on their foot pegs like they're riding a mechanical bull at a county fair. Looks unnecessarily dangerous and completely pointless from an automobile perspective, right? Standing while riding represents one of motorcycling's most practical and essential techniques for multiple legitimate reasons. Road surface irregularities require different management strategies when riding motorcycles versus driving automobiles. Approaching hazards like potholes, speed bumps, construction debris, or pavement transitions. Standing up transforms riders into human shock absorbers that protect both motorcycle components and rider comfort. Your legs become additional suspension elements working in harmony with mechanical systems. Motorcycle suspension systems prioritize optimal handling characteristics over luxury comfort features. Sport bikes especially utilize firm suspension setups that transmit every road surface imperfection directly through the chassis to rider contact points. Standing up allows knees and ankles to absorb impact forces that would otherwise compress spinal columns or upset motorcycle balance during hazard encounters. Long-distance touring riders frequently stand to combat riding fatigue and restore proper blood circulation. Motorcycle seats aren't engineered for 8-hour comfort marathons like automobile seats. Extended riding positions create pressure points, muscle cramping, and circulation restrictions that standing immediately relieves. Professional touring riders incorporate regular standing intervals into their riding strategies. Off-road riding situations make standing absolutely essential for control and safety. Dirt bikes encounter rocks, fallen logs, terrain elevation changes, and surface conditions that would launch seated riders into uncontrolled flight. Standing provides dynamic balance, weight distribution control, and impact absorption that seated positions simply cannot match effectively. Even street riders dealing with construction zones, railroad crossings, or deteriorated pavement utilize standing techniques regularly. Advanced motorcycle safety courses teach standing as proper riding technique, not unnecessary showboating or attention-seeking behavior. How many of these perfectly logical motorcycle behaviors have you witnessed and completely misunderstood the reasoning behind? Share your stories and misconceptions in the comments below. Number 3. Constant lane position changes like lost drivers. Motorcycle ahead refuses to maintain consistent positioning within their designated lane, continuously drifting left and right like they cannot decide where they want to travel. From automobile driver perspectives, this appears indecisive, nervous, or possibly impaired riding. The reality involves sophisticated safety strategies taught in advanced motorcycle training courses worldwide. Lane positioning represents dynamic safety management that maximizes visibility, escape route options, and protective margins based on constantly changing traffic conditions. What appears aimless actually demonstrates strategic positioning decisions made every few seconds based on surrounding threats and opportunities. When passing parked automobiles, experienced riders move toward left portions of their lanes to avoid doors that might open unexpectedly into traffic. Around oncoming traffic situations, they shift right to increase separation distances from potential head-on collision scenarios. Near large trucks or sport utility vehicles with limited mirror visibility, they position themselves where professional drivers can actually observe them. Environmental factors like crosswinds, truck turbulence, and varying road surface conditions require continuous position adjustments for optimal safety and control. Riders actively seek smoothest pavement sections, avoid oil accumulation areas in tire tracks, and counter wind forces that could push them into dangerous situations. Professional motorcyclists think strategically about lane thirds, left, center, and right positioning zones that each serve specific safety purposes. They're continuously reading traffic flow patterns, road surface conditions, weather effects, and potential hazard developments to choose optimal positioning every moment. Dynamic positioning philosophy provides escape route options that static lane positioning cannot offer. When threatening situations develop rapidly, riders are already positioned optimally to avoid dangers instead of reacting from compromised positions that limit their options. Think constant positioning seems complex? This next technique involves split-second timing decisions between life and death consequences. Number 2, aggressive acceleration. When cars attempt merging, automobile begins merging toward a motorcycle's lane position. Instead of slowing down or moving aside defensively, the rider suddenly hammers their throttle and shoots forward aggressively. Appears confrontational, dangerous, and road rage motivated from automobile driver perspectives. But this represents textbook defensive riding, utilizing fundamental motorcycle performance advantages. Basic 600 cubic centimeter sport motorcycles accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds. Performance figures exceeding most exotic supercars, costing 10 times more money. Experienced riders utilize this acceleration advantage as their primary safety tool rather than entertainment or ego enhancement. When automobiles begin unsafe merging maneuvers, motorcyclists face 3 immediate response options: emergency braking, evasive swerving, or acceleration-based escape. Emergency braking reduces control options and might not create sufficient separation distances. Swerving maneuvers risk loss of control or secondary collisions with other vehicles. Acceleration moves motorcycles completely away from developing danger zones. This technique requires precise timing coordination and throttle control mastery. Riders must instantly judge merging vehicle speeds and trajectory angles, then apply exactly enough acceleration to clear threat zones without losing traction control. It represents split-second decision-making processes that can prevent serious accidents or save lives. This isn't road rage, aggressive riding, or testosterone-fueled competition. It's intelligently using motorcycle performance characteristics for survival in traffic situations where physics provides clear advantages. Automobiles attempting to occupy the same space as motorcycles during improper merging simply cannot match the acceleration capabilities of riders who've recognized threats and responded appropriately. Professional motorcycle instruction emphasizes acceleration as legitimate escape strategy when other options prove insufficient or dangerous. When physics and engineering provide performance advantages, using them intelligently becomes the safest available option. But even perfect escape acceleration techniques cannot solve this final behavior that drives automobile drivers to absolute fury. Number 1, high-speed lane, splitting through dense traffic. The ultimate automobile driver rage trigger that makes sensible people consider violence. Motorcycles threading between highway lanes at 60 miles per hour while surrounding traffic moves at normal speeds appears like pure insanity mixed with death wish from automobile perspectives. But this advanced technique serves specific purposes that most drivers never consider or understand. High-speed lane splitting only makes logical sense under very specific traffic conditions that experienced riders recognize instantly through years of training and practice. Dense highway traffic moving at consistent speeds creates unique opportunities for motorcycles to make progress without disrupting established traffic flow patterns. The critical factor is minimal speed differential, typically maintaining only 5 to 10 miles per hour faster than surrounding vehicle speeds. This advanced technique isn't random risk-taking or adrenaline addiction. Successful high-speed splitting requires reading complex traffic patterns, predicting automobile driver behavior tendencies, and maintaining precise throttle and steering control under pressure. Riders continuously scan for telltale lane change indicators, turn signals, driver head movements, gap spaces that might tempt sudden lane switches. Motorcycles possess fundamental advantages that make this technique viable when executed properly. They occupy minimal road space, stop faster than automobiles, and provide elevated seating positions offering superior forward visibility. Skilled riders splitting lanes can identify and react to developing threats more quickly than automobile drivers realize threats exist. However, this technique demands extensive experience and absolutely perfect environmental conditions. New riders should never attempt high-speed splitting under any circumstances, and even expert riders avoid it during during poor weather, heavy traffic density, or unfamiliar road conditions. When performed correctly by properly trained riders, it demonstrates calculated risk management rather than reckless endangerment. Legal status varies dramatically between different states and countries, but where explicitly permitted, high-speed lane splitting showcases motorcycle performance capabilities that automobiles simply cannot match or duplicate. These aren't reckless stunts. They're what keep us alive while everyone else is staring at their phones. Hit subscribe if you're tired of riders getting blamed for knowing how to stay upright. And if bad drivers push your blood pressure past the red line, don't miss our next video, 20 things that piss off every biker.